You both feel it, that electric pull you keep trying to hide. You act like strangers on the outside while your hearts scream the same truth on the inside. This isn't coincidence. This is psychology, trying to reveal something you're afraid to say out loud. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a specific kind of tension that exists only between two people who want each other but refuse to admit it. It's the kind of connection you try to shake off, you distract yourself, you overthink, you pretend, yet, somehow, the thought of them returns with perfect accuracy. Because the truth is simple. When two people feel each other, they know. Not logically, not verbally, but physiologically, emotionally, instinctively. You notice it in the way your voice changes around them, the way your eyes stay half a second longer than they should, the way your mind replays a tiny moment that should have meant nothing, but meant everything. Humans are wired to sense emotional energy. We feel desire long before we understand it, and when two people feel the same thing, the energy doesn't lie, but the people often do. They hide behind timing, trauma, pride, fear, or the illusion of control. This speech is about that space between you, the unspoken, undeniable truth you both pretend not to notice. And the psychology behind why it's happening, why it's so intense, and why neither of you can fully walk away. Mutual attraction isn't always loud. Sometimes, it's quiet, a series of subtle signals you both keep pretending are accidental. Psychology calls this reciprocal attraction, the phenomenon where one person's interest increases the other's interest, often without either acknowledging it out loud. Here's the twist. When two people want each other, they don't act normal. They become hyper-aware. Every gesture becomes loaded. Every conversation feels slightly charged. You're calm with everyone else, but with this person, your nervous system reacts like it's been waiting for them. This is why you replay small interactions in your mind, why their presence feels different, why you notice their mood, tone, and microexpressions more than anyone else's. Your brain is tracking them because it wants something from them: connection, validation, intimacy, familiarity, or emotional safety. But here's the psychological trap. Strong attraction often triggers self-protection. The fear of wanting someone who might not want you back makes people suppress what they feel. So instead of confessing, you camouflage. You become colder, quieter, more distant, hoping the feeling will fade, yet it doesn't. When both people are doing this at the same time, you get that strange mix of closeness and distance, desire and denial, intensity and restraint. And that's usually the first sign that the attraction is mutual, because you're both behaving like you're scared of the same thing. If two people want each other, why don't they act on it? Psychology has an answer. Fear creates hesitation even when desire is strong. Fear of rejection is one layer. Fear of being misunderstood is another. But the deepest fear, the one people don't admit, is the fear of being seen. True attraction exposes you. It makes you vulnerable. It forces you to confront parts of yourself that relationships tend to make visible: need, yearning, insecurity, longing. So you hold back. Humans create emotional distance as a defense mechanism. We pretend not to care to protect our ego. We avoid making the first move because we're terrified of being too much. And the moment we sense the other person is also hesitant, our brain assumes they must not feel the same, even though they're hesitating for the exact same reason. Two people can be mirrors of each other's fear, both waiting, both hiding, both wanting. That's the paradox of mutual desire. It often creates silence instead of connection. And here's the darker truth. The deeper the feeling, the stronger the fear. That's why the people we want the most are often the ones we move the least toward. Humans are emotional mirrors. We reflect the energy we're given. This is why when someone you want looks at you with softness, your chest warms. When they pull away, you retreat. When they're nervous, you suddenly become aware of yourself too. This is unconscious mirroring, the psychological mechanism that synchronizes two people who feel the same thing but don't say it. Your tone matches theirs. Your posture shifts with theirs. You laugh when they laugh, even when it wasn't that funny. You sense when they're hurting or pretending. You pick up their emotional cues faster than anyone else's. But here's where it gets interesting. Mirroring intensifies when attraction is mutual. It becomes an unspoken language. You start to feel their attention even when they aren't speaking. You sense their eyes on you. You catch them paying attention to details about you that other people overlook. And you do the same without realizing you're doing it. Emotionally mirroring someone is a sign that your nervous systems are synchronizing. Not imagination. Not coincidence. Connection. Two people don't connect deeply by accident. There's always a psychological reason. Sometimes it's emotional familiarity, the way their presence feels like something your mind recognizes, even if you just met. Sometimes it's unmet needs, the way they give you something you've been starved for. Attention, intensity, softness, understanding. Sometimes it's unresolved trauma, the way they trigger parts of you that were asleep until they arrived. Attraction isn't just about chemistry, it's about memory. The mind attaches to people who stir something: internal desire, safety, fear, comfort, recognition, possibility. And when two people create that reaction in each other, the attachment becomes magnetic. This is why you think of them randomly, why they appear in dreams, why your body reacts when they're near, why you sense when something is wrong with them. Your mind has marked them as emotionally significant, and once that happens, letting go becomes almost impossible unless you force yourself to. People assume mixed signals mean someone doesn't care, but often, mixed signals are a sign someone cares too much. Confusion doesn't come from lack of interest, it comes from conflicting emotions. Wanting someone but fearing the consequences. Being drawn to someone but doubting your worth. Feeling the connection but not trusting yourself enough to pursue it. So you get hot and cold behavior. You get distance after vulnerability. You get silence after moments of intensity. You get avoidance after eye contact that felt too real. This is dark psychology at work. The mind sabotaging the very thing it desires. When both people are doing this, the connection becomes a loop of closeness and withdrawal, tension and restraint. But here's the truth. Mixed signals don't come from confusion about them. They come from confusion about yourself. And both of you are stuck in that internal battle. If you both feel it, it's real. You're not imagining the tension. You're not exaggerating the signs. You're not making up the connection. Humans don't hallucinate the same emotions at the same time. But this kind of connection demands courage. The courage to be honest, to be vulnerable, to be seen. The world is full of almost relationships, almost confessions, almost moments that could have changed everything. Don't let fear turn this into another almost. Because when two people want each other, when two people feel each other, the only real question is whether either one is brave enough to stop pretending.